Hi, I'm Mark from eReplacementParts.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the speed sensor and the control board in your KitchenAid Pro 6 mixer. The speed sensor and the control board in your KitchenAid mixer work together to both control the mixer's speed and turn the mixer on and off. The speed sensor in your mixer talks to the control board and tells the control board how fast the motor is spinning. If the motor was under a load and was spinning too slowly, the speed sensor would tell that to the control board, and the control board would then send more power to the motor and increase the speed. The most common symptom of a bad speed sensor would be you set your mixer to the lowest setting, and instead of going to that speed, the mixer speeds all the way up to fast for just a few seconds and then turns itself off. The control board, like we mentioned before, is the part of your mixer that allows you to turn it on and off. It also controls the speed of the mixer. The most common symptom of a bad control board would be you would turn your mixer on to a low setting, say 1 or 2, and then the mixer would speed all the way up to the highest setting, but instead of turning off like a bad speed sensor, it just continues to run at the highest speed. Some lesser problems with the control board would be simply your machine won't turn on and off. That would mean the switch inside the control board is bad. Or the speed selector lever is very loose on your machine. At that point, it's basically worn out. It'll need to be replaced. There's one more common issue you may run into with your KitchenAid mixer concerning the speed control or the control board. And that would be a machine that when you turn it on, it's very slow to come up to speed. In that case, it could be either the speed sensor or the control board. And there's really no way to know which it is without just replacing them. The best thing to do here is start with the speed sensor because it's the less expensive item and it's easier to replace. Now we'll go ahead and get started with the repair. To begin, we'll remove the screw on the back of the mixer that holds this ring that has the nameplate on it, sometimes called the beauty ring. Next, we'll remove the 4 screws that hold the top cover to the rest of the mixer. Now we have access to the components inside the mixer. Here we have the speed sensor. It plugs into the control board here and mounts to the motor here. And of course the control board itself, which is held in place with a couple of screws. We'll talk about the speed sensor first. To remove the speed sensor, I simply unplug the wire, and then on the base of the speed sensor there's a couple of tabs. I'll just push in that tab with the screwdriver, and that'll allow me to pull the sensor away from the motor. If the speed sensor is the only issue with your mixer, at this point you can just reinstall the new one. And it just simply snaps into place on the motor, and then the wire plugs back into the control board. Put the top back on and you're done. Now we'll move on to the control board. The first thing I want to do is remove these wires that plug into the control board. But before I pull them off, I want to go ahead and label each of these terminals according to what it is. You'll notice on the control board, each terminal has a name above it, or a color. I'm going to go ahead and mark that name or color on the wire, and then I can remove it. With the wires disconnected, now I can remove the control board. It's just held in place with a couple of screws. Now I'll go ahead and install the new circuit board. I'll place it in the mixer and secure it with the 2 screws. You want to be careful when you tighten these screws down, not to over tighten them, or you'll crack the feet on the control board. And now I'll just reconnect the wires according to the labels that I made earlier. And again, we'll just snap the speed sensor back into the motor and attach the wire to the control board. Now we can go ahead and put the top back on the mixer. Before I place it on the mixer, I just want to make sure that the wires are all out of the way and won't get pinched. You'll notice from the factory they twist the wires, and this is to help keep them out of the way. And secure it with the 4 screws. And last, I'll slide the beauty ring back onto the machine and secure it in place with the screw. As you can see, replacing the speed sensor and the control board in your KitchenAid mixer is a simple repair that you can easily do yourself. We hope you found this video helpful. Please feel free to leave a comment or ask us a question.